What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Moet here, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm starting a new series. We're gonna call it Through the Generations. So we're gonna talk about a Pokemon from Gen 2 through Gen 7, or Gen 1 through Gen 7, whichever or whenever the Pokemon was introduced. Uh, First and foremost, when I first talk about, I'm going to talk about like its Pokedex entry, its stats. By that I mean like its height and weight, things like that. You know, the basic stuff about it, so that way we get a feel for what Game Freak was thinking about when they made this Pokemon. If their features like that had anything to do with how their move pool was designed, as well as their ability. And then, like I said, the Pokedex entry, and then we're gonna go into how the Pokemon was used in the generation that we're covering. So today we're gonna be doing Gen 2, or actually, we're gonna be the first Pokemon in the series is gonna be Tyranitar. And then we're gonna start with, of course, Gen 2 because Gen 2 is when it was introduced. So Gen 2 Tyranitar has a Pokédex entry stating. Now it has three of them because it was in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, of course, and they each have a different one. So in Pokemon Gold, it says its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack. Okay, so you're telling me there's not one attack that Tyranitar can be harmed by? Like, I don't know, cross chop can't. Okay, we're just gonna skip that part. So it is very eager to make challenges against enemies. So Tyranitar, from what I'm getting, is ready to hop out there whenever. Free phase, anybody can get it. So Tyranitar is like Drake, free smoke. If you want it, come get it. All right, I'm with it. If Tyranitar's with it, I'm with it. If he out there, I'm out there. Pokemon Silver says extremely strong. It can change the landscape. Whoa. So, well, I know it gets earthquakes. So, okay. So, does that mean everybody can change the landscape then? Because everybody gets, like, damn near everybody gets earthquake. Weird. And it has an insolent nature that makes it not care about others. Damn, bro. Like, you gotta care about the homies, bro. Like, if I was willing to jump out there with you, then when I jump out there by myself, you gotta be willing to jump out there with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just leave a homie alone. Like, that's young Draco hop out there. You gotta be willing to jump out there with young Draco, bro. It's just facts. Can't be in the hood screeching and hollering and don't have somebody to back him up, bro. You gotta be willing to throw with me, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. And one of it's just just one of its mighty hands. Okay, that's what I'm saying. T-Tar got the mighty hands. Okay, has the power to make the ground shake and mountains crumble. That was for Pokemon Crystal. So like I said, yep, got that earthquake, made the ground shake. Okay, and then just using one of its hands, it can. So should earthquake be double power when Tyranitar uses it? I don't know, man. I don't know, because if one of its mighty hands can make the ground shake and the mountains crumble, then two of them, you should be able to use like a double earthquake, maybe like a double hit type ability. I don't know. I don't know. And then this is facts about it. Its height, it's about 8'2". He'd be a great basketball player. If I had to draft him, I'd probably draft him at about center. He's a little taller than Shaq, just a little taller than Shaq. He's also just a little bit heavier than Shaq, weighing it at 562 pounds. I don't know kilograms, so I'm not gonna do the conversions. Y'all know that stuff though, so good luck on that. Of course, Tyranitar is very gender fluid. I would never assume its identity whatsoever. Can't even see it. I'm looking right at the picture. I don't see any type of genitalia whatsoever. Just looking, but I would never assume this Tyranitar's identity. Could be an attack helicopter if it wants to. And then the category, it is an armor type Pokemon. Okay, I have no idea what that is, but it does got that hard body baby armor. I can already see it. The abilities, of course. So it had Sandstream in not Gen 2, but it got it in Gen 3, and then in Gen 4, it got Unnerve. We'll talk about that. No, it was it Gen 5. It got Unnerve. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. Uh, Type, of course, is rock and dark, and then weaknesses, blah blah blah. It's just steel, fighting, water, fairy, grass, bug, and ground. Very contradictive because I remember maybe not 5 minutes ago it said its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack. So it shouldn't have any sort of weaknesses. Should have Wonder Guard. It should at least have Wonder Guard. Probably change its typings around. I can see why it's a dark type because I can see like under its hard body baby armor it is black. It is a black man. I can see that. Even though I think his armor like blends in with his face. It's real weird. Or is the blue part his armor? Is the rock part his armor or is the blue part his armor? I can't tell. It's got a lot of armor though. And then let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the moves it would use in Gen 2. So give me 1 second. Alright, and we're back with Tyranitar. So taking a look at these are two of the possible move pools, or move. I don't know what I was trying to say there. Just not move pools. It has a decent move pool, but it's only Gen 2. Like I forgive its move pool. Let's pull it up so we can just take a look at that move pool I'm talking about. Not a whole lot of items. Gen 2, of course. Ancient Power, just way better moves than that, of course. Crunch was a special move back then, so it wasn't used as much. Still got usage though. Detect, there's Protect, which has more PP. Earthquake, of course, very standard on Tyranitar. Fire Blast, Fire Punch, Flamethrower, all moves that were used. Not Fire Punch, Fire Blast, and Flamethrower was used. Frustration, HP Fighting, HP Grass. The HPs were used a lot. HP Fighting is a little odd. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but it's on the suggested part, so probably was used. I'm not sure. Ice Beam, Outrage. Never seen Outrage because there's not a whole lot of dragons. Ice Beam, yes. Pursuit, like I said. Protect, like I said. Pursuit. For the Mismagius, things like that. They tend to switch out on Tyranitar. Plus, you can get other things, even though it is only 40 base power. When it switches out, of course, it turns into 80. Rest, Return, very standard moves. Roar, this is a very good move that was used because a lot of Pokemon do things like Calm Mind or Curse in Gen 2, so having something to phase was very useful. Rock Slide, Sleep Talk, of course, for the rest move. Surf, T-Bolt, Toxic, and then a whole bunch of other moves, standard bullshit. Down here, there is another good one. HP Bug was used. Dynamic Punch was used. Let me take a look. I don't really see anything off the top of my head down here that was also used. Most of these moves were pretty bad down here. Like they were pretty garbage. And then stats: base 100 HP, 135 attack, 110 defense, 95 special attack, which is really good for back then because 134 attack and 95 special attack in a gen where everything is boosted out. But if everything's boosted out, then basically nothing's boosted out. 100 speed def, pretty good. And then 61 speed, not as good as it is now because it doesn't get the buff from Sandstream because it doesn't have it yet. But still, 100 speed def is still pretty good with 110 defense. With that 100 HP backing it up, it was pretty bulky. As you can see, 403 HP. The defenses, like I said, don't really matter as much because everything's maxed out. So it's like I said, it's almost like nothing is maxed out. And then of course it was running leftovers. I do have a set where I was running Berserk Gene. I can show that one to you. That's like this is the team. It's a Berserk Gene team. Because I don't like the stally aspect of it. I'm not saying I made this team. This is a CBB team. Shout out CBB, of course. But yeah, this is a Berserk Gene Tyranitar. It had Rock Slide, Earthquake, Fire Blast, and Pursuit. Basically for everything that I said. Things like Aerodactyl. I don't think there was pretty sure Salamence was next gen. Earthquake for steel types. Fire Blast for like Skarmory. Pretty sure there was a Skarmory. And then Pursuit, like I said, for Mismage and other ghost types or whatever. But here's some of the standard Tyranitar sets. So Rock Slide, Roar, Curse, Rest. So basically, what this was used was for setting up. You know what I'm saying? Getting a couple curses, go to sleep. You see a big threat out there, you just roar it out like a threat. Like Snorlax, which uses Curse a lot, or uh, Raikou, which uses Calm Mind, or Vaporeon. I don't. It doesn't really Calm Mind, but it Toxic Stalls. Um, Things like that. You want to roar those out as soon as possible and keep it pushing. Maybe you get a rest off because it's gonna take a lot of damage if you're using it as a utility switch in, a defensive switch in. And then the other set was Dynamic Punch, Rock Slide, Fire Blast, Pursuit. So Dynamic Punch, while it was only 50%, it's still pretty good to use. Like there's still no abilities or anything like that, but a 50% chance to confuse, 100% plus some damage. I'm sorry about them getting a little sick right now, man. But yeah, you hit, it was good. If you didn't hit, it's probably because Tyranitar wasn't doing that much for you anyway. Rock Slide, of course, Fire Blast, and Pursuit. Standard moves, like I talked about. But yeah, this was Tyranitar. It was all around. It's pretty decent in Gen 2. I'd put it just because, but there's not a whole lot of Pokemon there, so I'd probably say it's like, I don't know, top 10, top 15. Um, it's okay. It's definitely okay. It's not the best, but it's still really good and very much used. Um, so I tried to get a Gen 2 battle, and I think I did for like half a second. But that shit was like, the dude left basically. He just left. He left after turn one. I didn't even get to do turn one with him. So we're just going to instead just search over a replay and watch and see how people play with something like Tyranitar on their team. Alright, and I got the battle. So this one is going to be Dice, aka Princess Bree, versus ABR. I think he just won. I think he just won OST, some shit like that. But yeah, this is like, I don't know, it said like 3 or 4 days ago, type shit. So 3 to 7 days ago. So it could have been a week ago. Fairly recent. I couldn't find any replays of me playing Gen 2 because the last time I played, it's been a while. I normally play just like against Joey or when I'm in a tournament. But yeah, let's just hop into this battle, take a look. So, Bree led Zapdos, ABR led Executor, of course no team preview in Gen 2. She goes for HP. It's probably, I think they ran, I want to say Ice, or Fire. It could be Flying, but I don't know how Flying is. With the split. I think it's physical. I'm just looking over it real quickly. Yeah, Flying is physical, so it could be Fire or Ice because they're both special. Ice could hit. Ice, of course, hits things like Executor, other Zapdoses. If there's ever like a Dragon type, I think there's like. I think there is Dragonite. I know there's Dragonite, but I don't think Dragonite ever gets any usage. But yeah, so it could be Ice or a Fire. And then Executor used Thief to take Zapdos' leftovers. Now that's actually pretty cool. So he's running no item Executor, Thief, so that way he can take the Zapdos' leftovers. So that way it's like it can't keep gaining health. Which is very cool. So he switches into Raikou to take the next HP Ice. Dice goes for Thunder, that way to try and get a Peril. So switches into Steelix, trying to avoid any attack that Raikou can go for. Like they're mostly just, like I said, Calm Mind with HP Ice or Water, Thunder. They sometimes run HP Grass. And then the rest set, and then the rest Sleep Talk. So it's like Raikou, same thing. So he switches in the Cloister, expecting probably an Earthquake from the Steelix. as he goes for Roar. Just another Thunder, just trying to check him out. Probably thought he would go for Roar again, but he goes for Earthquake this time, gets some clean damage off, some nice crispy damage off. So switches in the Cloyster, Dice makes a nice double, expecting that switch, and then gets off another Thunder on the Raikou for basically free. Now he has to switch into something, goes to Snorlax as ABR of course goes for Rest. Need the health on Raikou. He double switches into Zapdos, expecting to switch again, and then Dice makes a triple, expecting to switch back into Raikou. There's no, like, see, that's why, like, of course, that's Sleep Talk, so ABR lost nothing by going for that. Like, the most Dice's Cloyster was gonna do was get up Spikes. Get up Spikes. It could get off a little bit of damage on Raikou, but it wasn't gonna sweep anything. It wasn't gonna do anything crazy. It was probably just gonna get up a layer or two with Spikes. But the risk reward there was, what if ABR does pull Thunder on a Sleep Talk and just knocks it out completely? I don't know. That's just one of those things. I'd say probably Steelix was the better play there. Try and force it out, and then you can keep doubling around. Like, that would have been, like, I know doubling around is pretty boring, but sometimes you gotta keep doubling around until you get an advantageous switch in. But yeah, so because of that, Cloyster is now dead. Leaves Dice down one. Switches in Snorlax as ABR brings in Cloyster. Now this is where Snorlax gets real dangerous because it has spikes. Has curse. So he starts going for curses. It's tough to kill Snorlax, like, and especially if it's like curse explosion, and it can like kill like half your team, and then get an explosion off, and then kill like a fourth one, or they just run curse as like a blur, like to lure you in, make you think it doesn't have explosion, and it does have explosion. Some of them, of course, don't. They're like a rest talk set, like the other one. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I was real clogged up, man. I don't know. I'm getting sick or something. Help me. Help me. But anyway, like I was saying, Curse Snorlax can run Explosion, might not run Explosion. It just depends on what the team needs. This one probably isn't running Explosion on it, but I'm not sure. So as ABR starts setting up spikes, Dice is going for curses. ABR is probably going to switch here. Yep, goes to Tyranitar on the body slam. Gets parried, which kind of sucks. But he's just going to roar anyway to get rid of the Snorlax as he eats the Earthquake. Only does 80%. That'd have been any closer. Dice might have swept him. So a double from Zapdos back into Snorlax as ABR goes into the Raikou, and then goes into Executor on the body slam. He's trying to keep Tyranitar alive as Death Water. That's why he switched out of the Zapdos. No point in sacking it immediately, and Dice knows that, because you don't just want to let things die for no reason. You're trying to save up your Death Waters, and still win the game. Like, it's not really stunning. It's trying to play as smart as possible. You gotta save your pieces and then get rid of them at opportune times. So Body Slam parries the Executor, but it's still enough health to live in the next hit. So he goes for a Giga Drain on a Gang as Dice switches into Gengar, which you don't see that often. Maybe you do. That's why Pursuit is run. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't really see Gengar that often, but like I said, I don't really play Gen 2 a whole lot. I have seen some crazy shit though in Gen 2. Like I saw Earthworm using a Miltank, which I've never seen before, and it was putting in work. So he switches into Zapdos, either expecting the switch or knowing that Executor can't do anything to it. He's probably expecting a different kind of switch though. And then he doubles into Raikou on that, goes for Sleep Talk as Dice goes into Steelix. He's just trying to burn another turn of rest. It will be waking up next turn, so we'll see what it does. It'll probably Calm Mind. As he goes into Cloyster on the Steelix. Now he does have spikes up, so his team is starting to get worn down a little bit. Switched out to Zapdos, doesn't want to get hit by Thunder, of course. Has his own Snorlax, his own Curselax. So now it's just to see who's got the bigger cojones right here. You know what I'm saying? He's going for Body Slam, trying to get the pair so that way he can beat it more easily. He's probably gonna keep cursing. but now it's just a curse word. So let's see. Oh, and he had self-destruct on his to beat the other Curselax, because Curselax is a threat. So the Raikou will wake up this turn, but instead he decides to sack his Tyranitar on the explosion. Good play, because Dice knows Raikou's a threat. Like when Steelix is gone, Raikou's gonna win the game. There's just no two ways about it. Steelix is still there though, so I think switching that in might have been the better play, but it is getting worn down by spikes. And then it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Dice had to do something there, cause switching in Steelix, taking spikes, as ABR switches in Cloyster, let's say he gets up another spike. Now the switches are just more against him. Switching in Steelix is just more against him. So he went to Gengar, trying to kill Raikou like that with the explosion. Fortunately for him, ABR saw that and decided to sack his T-Tar, you said earlier, to the explosion, so that way he could have his Raikou later to pressure the Steelix back in against Zapdos. Start racking up that spike more and more, win the game. So sends an Executor on the double down, sends in Zapdos, goes for explosion, kills his Zapdos. Wow. So it depends on what the last is, and it's Vaporeon. So Vaporeon comes out on Cloyster as he goes for explosion. Jesus. So yeah, that was the basis for his whole team. It was weaken you down, whittle you down, and then start knocking one by one, knowing what you have left. So he knew Dice at that point. At the point from the first explosion, the self-destruct here, Dice had Snorlax, Gengar, Zapdos, Steelix, and then a mystery Pokemon. Snorlax on Snorlax, you're not going to switch out because you don't want this Snorlax to get up curses and then sweep your team. So that's not going to happen. So he self-destructs knowing that Dice isn't going to switch out and gets rid of the Snorlax. Okay. Next, Dice goes for the explosion, trying to catch the Raikou. Of course, he has his T-Tar as Death Fodder, so he throws it in front of them, sacks the T-Tar. Okay, next, Zapdos goes for HP Ice on the Executor, as the Executor goes for the explosion again. Now, switching in Steelix here would have been a bad play, because what if he didn't go for explosion? What if he went for something like Psychic and then ended up dying or getting extremely weak in the next turn to HP Grass and then letting the Raikou sweep? So that wasn't going to help as he goes for explosion. So ABR knows that, goes for explosion to kill the Zapdos. Lastly, Cloyster on Vaporeon, same exact situation. You don't want your Steelix to get hurt too much on the Cloyster. They run like Surf and Hydro Pump, things like that. You don't want it to get hurt too much, so that way you lose to Raikou as our last mon. So he stays in, hoping for him to do something, but goes for explosion, of course, knocking that out. His last is a Espeon for Steelix. I'm not sure, I've never seen an Espeon, but he's running HP Fire, which makes sense. Something to hit the Espeon for damage. He'll probably just sack the Raikou. Oh no, he switches back into Espeon as Steelix goes for Curse. Okay, then that was the good play there. He'll go for another HP Fire, too close to enough to knock it out. Steelix unfortunately can't knock out Espeon, and that's going to be the game. One more HP Fire is going to end this for Dice. ABR wins. But yeah, those explosion plays helped a lot because of the Tyranitar Roar. It was able to stop any sort of Snorlax sweep, and Espeon, that's kind of cool. But I feel like it just depends on what his HP was on Raikou. He didn't, like, there was no, unless it was fire, he wasn't gonna win. But because of the explosion plays, he put himself in a situation where he was able to last mon the Steelix and beat it. So it was a good game, enjoyable one. Not too long for a Gen 2. Most of them are Stallfest, but this one was a pretty good offensive game. Like I said, because of the T-Tar, he was able to not get swept by that Snorlax. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. This was a like I said, showcase of T-Tar in Gen 2. There will be a Gen 3 showcase for Tyranitar. Coming soon in the works, things like that, blah blah blah, on its way. Flex tape coming soon. You already know.